Hello, y'all, and this is Ellen Mongan, and welcome to Wow Mom. Today we have two guests, not one. We would have had three, but we have two, and they're such a delight. So I'm going to first let them introduce themselves. I know Mary, but Mary, you introduce yourself and then let in your little bio. Thank you.
I am Mary Brotherton. I am here with my main co-founder, Jennifer East. We created, came up with an inspired idea to create bUneke.org. And we can tell you a little bit more about that. I'm a writer, an editor, mother, grandmother, cat owner. I just go where God points me.
I know, it's so great. And then hi, Jennifer, to you too. I'm going to wait. I'm all the way from the South.
My name is Jennifer East, and I'm a partner with Mary and Lynn. Unfortunately, Lynn's not with us today. We started this really cool thing called bUneke. And I do I do most of the art that you see. So anything visual as far as like the magazine, any kind of website, filmmaking. We do all the documentary work, anything that's got the creative side to it. That's probably where I put my hands into it and work with interns and things like that. So I'm a mom. I have 4 kids. My kids are from Hong Kong to all over the United States. And I have a cat that I'm babysitting for my daughter because she left it here when she went to Hong Kong. And yeah, Mary and I we complement each other. We always act like we're like the married couple because
we're the opposite couple, so I understand perfectly. My husband and I.
So my husband sometimes has to be pushed aside so that I can work with Mary.
You know what? That's the best in a marriage is the opposite couple in working relationships. If we all have the same gifts, my prep partner says this: if we all have the same gifts, one of us is not needed.
Exactly.
like, thank you. I was a mother of 8, and I always learned to delegate because I thought, well, if everybody does what they do best, then the whole house ran smoothly. If I made one kid, maybe they picked out of the hat and they got base of the child was a newborn, they didn't get to do that job. They were not qualified. So how about you, Mary? What do you think? Tell us a little about the magazine bUneke. And I love the name. And I had to look at it a long time before I caught on to I'm going, what is that?
Yeah, it's spelled differently. It's bUneke.
But
Jennifer?
what I wanted to say is now you'll never forget it. Once you figure out what it is, it's just like Nike or some of the other things. Once you figure out what the word is, it's like you don't forget. So yeah.
I think that's great because we were talking earlier in the show about how God coined the phrase unique. He said, you're fearfully and wonderfully made. He wanted to say like this, be yourself, because every other part's taken. So Mary, go on with yours and then you all just hop in. We do a really—
Well, I'll tell you how we started. Jennifer and I had worked together. And in fact, you did. I think Jennifer had already moved on by the time I met you, Ellen, when you were doing the modeling for Boomer Guide. But we had both worked for that same organization for some time. And then we went our separate ways for different reasons. Jennifer went out to Los Angeles to be with her daughter, who was working in the film industry. I went to South Carolina to take care of my mother. And then we met, when we got both back to Florida, our lives had gotten to a point where we could communicate some more. So we talked to each other. And at that point, Jennifer was working on a magazine she had created for mothers and young actors to help them understand. It was called Act Like a Child. And before I knew it, she had asked me to become her editor, and I did that. It was just a volunteer position, and she had a lot of experience with what led to bUneke. But we also found that working on that one and also the subsequent magazine she created called Act Like a Pro, we were both very intrigued with people in the industry who have a charitable outlook or did some kind of philanthropy. And we kept thinking, oh, this is really nice. So we got together. We were also both drawn to work for the same nonprofit organization. I was the publicist and event coordinator, and Jennifer was their designer. She created flyers and things that I would then use in publicity. And she created a lot of brochures and different things. But we noticed that we were under, or maybe unappreciated. We were expected to perform our duties as volunteers, and that was it. You know, we got very few atta-girls, and that was something important to most humans.
Exactly. I think that's an
And
important point, Mary.
one particular day, she and I were just both having different issues with different people and just not happy.
Yeah, like,
And
time for a change.
it was time for a change. We
I'll
were on
make
the
it uncomfortable and go like, okay.
well, exactly. And I was telling my son that recently, when God says this isn't right for you, he'll make you understand why. And if you don't,
Yeah,
he's
you're
going to
welcome
make it
for it.
it makes it uncomfortable so that you have to move on.
That's right.
So Jennifer and I agreed it's time for us. She lives in Orlando. I live in Merritt Island.
Wow. I know you lived in Merritt Island because I read
Yeah.
that part. Yeah.
So we decided we needed to meet somewhere and go to lunch. And so we went down to Sebastian
Oh, wow. I
and
love that.
just sat on the river banks, and we were having lunch. We were talking, and because I'm a writer, I always carry pen and paper, and you never know when a great idea is going to pop up.
Yes.
So we were talking, what if we made our own magazine, different from Act Like a Child and Act Like a Pro,
Mhm.
something that got a more global outreach, but yet is regional.
Mhm.
And we didn't really know which direction we were going at first. We knew some of the things we wanted to talk about. So I'm writing down, I've got my pen and my paper, and I'm writing down all these ideas of what we can write about. And we were throwing out names. Oh gosh, some of the names, I think I still have a list of the
The
names.
name part's fun. It's the best part about
Well,
naming.
the names were pretty weird. Let me tell you,
Okay.
they were strange. But at some point, I put down my pen and my fork because I was eating and doing it all at the same time. And Jennifer put down her fork, and we looked across the table at each other and said, whatever we do, it has to be unique.
Ah,
And we knew that was the name of the magazine.
that's so nice. Yes.
But we knew we had to spell it differently. We couldn't just spell it like the phrase. My husband thought I was nuts because I'm always correcting his spelling. And he said, you misspelled this word. I said, no, I did not. We created something that's so much bigger.
I knew it was gone. I mean, it was inspired. So yes. I love it. Keep going there. Keep going. Because I like the story. And, people out there listening, they're thinking, what are my gifts? What can I do to be unique in my own field?
Well, and that's the beautiful part. Jennifer is, as she said earlier, the creative director. She controls the visuals. She designed this shirt.
I like it. I like it. I'm glad you wore it.
Be unique. Not the most graceful thing to do, but it's got to be.
Yeah.
And the reason that we came up with, branding and logos are all important.
They're so important.
For you need to see it and know what it means. Just like she mentioned earlier, Nike. You see an Oreo package, immediately there's fattening cookies in there. You see a can of Coca-Cola, you know what's in there.
Okay, so there, not a commercial.
And we wanted to make sure that whatever design we came up with for bUneke was something that people would understand.
Mhm.
The B is to signify existence. You just be, but the U is because you are the important person, Ellen. You're our reader, you're our audience. Whoever we're speaking to, we want you to feel individual. We don't want to group you all together. It doesn't say be y'all unique. But we also want everybody to understand that it's about being authentic, being genuine.
That's true.
Being unique, being yourself.
I love it. But what do you think? Did it come? How many years has it been going? Because I would think it's a perfect time if you don't have a subscription, now's the time. So we had a lot of times when we have a lot of time we've been sitting around thinking of what do we want to do. And now is the time to get out and do the things you did, like sit in the sunshine, have a picnic, be unique, and read the magazine. So how long have y'all been going?
Since 2018.
Okay, that's good. So
and we started as a digital magazine. Let me tell you, Jennifer and I spent, I don't even know how many months creating a business plan, writing it and planning it down for 5 years. We figured, we'll start the plan and we'll basically make our 5-year plan part of the business plan.
So Jen, what do you want to say? Did it go smooth? Oh, you can't say it. I didn't know about it. I was in Merritt Island and I lived in Vieira. We went to Merritt Island. That's how I met Mary the first time. And then we moved back home, which is Augusta, Georgia, really Evans now. And then I moved back to Vieira because my husband was at St. John's Church. And guess what? I didn't know about y'all. I don't know why. I tried.
Nobody did, because
I just was there. We just moved back a year ago. So like I was,
we're not widely distributed yet.
I would have worked for you, Mary. And I work for free too. My kids tell me all the time, Mom, no one
Well,
does anything for free. I do, but you know what?
We are 100% volunteer driven.
See,
Jennifer-
I'm a volunteer person. I write and speak and I do volunteer, but I'll tell you what happens when you do it. And people, like, I wrote for a lot of places for free and I still do. They go like, "Ooh, great article," whatever. Something that's like, got it. Even my boss, I'm not going to say which boss. I write for someone down here and I write for a lot of people. And I go, "Whoa, got it." But my boss at this one place I do write, Catholic mom, she always puts a little note like, "Thank you so much. I appreciate her. I like this." She will say that. So it's like not always, everyone's so different. We aren't looking for a pat on the back though, but appreciation is something that's free. A smile, free, or a thank you. I just
A simple, I see you, I read what you're doing, I understand you. Thank you. A simple thank you goes a long, long way.
So what do you think, Jennifer? You get to pop in now because we don't want to leave you. You're at the bottom, but you're not the least important. We're all, if we could do it, we could all three in a row, but I'm not electronic. You go.
Well, I think the biggest part of what inspires me every day to keep this going, because we don't get paid, is that, we are an educational nonprofit. So our whole goal is, it's kind of like giving people the opportunity to learn more about themselves, more about their environment, more about the world as a whole. And we get writers from all over the world they're wonderful writers who donate their time to tell us in their own words what's going on in their section of the world. So it actually broadens your scope instead of always just thinking about where we are. I mean, granted, we are very connected with the community, especially Brevard County, because they've opened their arms to us, and we've met some wonderful people that have, said, "Hey, we love what you guys are doing." And so, and Mary and I, it's not like everything's set in concrete. So we're still growing and trying to figure this whole thing out and just letting it be what it's supposed to be. And every time we connect with volunteers and writers and people from everywhere, and the clients that we do things for, we've, like, right behind me, I don't know if people are probably listening, they can't see, but
I like it.
A couple of the movies documentaries that we've put together, and it's just to raise awareness. Both of those organizations didn't have a lot of presence, and now they do. And it's because they have this tool now, this wonderful documentary that they can now share with the world. And so that's our goal.
Can you mention them? Because I didn't know about this either. Because I did my homework today. I had 6 shows in a row. I never do that. I overcommitted. I'm Ellen the overcommitter.
That's okay.
You already need those people too. I'm uniquely overcommitted. So tell me what you did for the what documentaries you have done. I'd be interested to know, and I'll look them up.
Sure. And you can always go to our website. It's kind of our hub, bUneke.org, really easy to remember. Yeah, and so if you hop on to bUneke, you'll see the list of the different documentaries, but Forgotten Enchantress is one, and that's about the Green Gables historical home in Melbourne. Okay. And they're trying to save it from being a gas station. And so it's a historical house from and very, very much implanted in the area, the community, that was very important during the time that it was at its heyday. And so they want to keep that. And then the next one next to it is Ruby Holland Foundation. And it's a foundation that helps underprivileged kids to get the opportunity to train with professionals in the music industry. And these are kids that have they are amazing in their own right, and they just never have been given the chance. So that foundation is wonderful. We just finished a documentary called Moving History. It's another historical one down in between Melbourne and Palm Bay. They found out about Forgotten Enchantress, and they said, hey, can you come do that for us? And so we did, and they're just starting to get it going, and it's wonderful too. And it gives you so much history. And so it's like every time we get involved in these projects, I learn a lot too. And these tools, the documentaries, the magazine, the podcasts that we do, they all are to help people, grow and learn from what's going on in our world. And so it's each thing. Like we have we have 10 or 11 shows now on our podcast.
We have one radio show with 10 different podcasts on it.
Yeah.
Four or five. I did the count the other day. I'll say four are in archives. They're not being expanded on for various reasons.
Okay.
They kind of have, they ran their seasons.
Okay.
But we have shows about living your best life, manifesting a life that you want. We have a show that's about, the Thursday night show is our flagship, and we talk to people from all over the world with other nonprofits.
Hey, love this.
That was an extension of our magazine. So
yes,
I like what you're doing. I think when you give, it should be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing, and you can't outgive it. It's like they know you in town now. I hope they do, because I just left a year ago, and then I didn't ask around. I was trying to, I miss, I love the weather, the people, but my people were in Georgia, and that's why we moved so much. Our children had all moved back to the same neighborhood, and we're 8 children, except for one's in heaven. And so almost all of them are in our neighborhoods. We couldn't resist to say we're the last ones to come on board. But we do miss the fact that you have so much opportunity. Listen, if you're out there listening and you want to serve somewhere, volunteer and get a thank you and a pat on the back and have your name written out there, just give a call to Unique. What's it .org? Is that right?
bUneke.org. It's
Looper girl.
BUNEKE.
Yes, I like that. And so we want to make sure everything I usually run an interview for people, and sometimes I know the people. I knew very little, and sometimes I don't, but I like them to be able to say and do whatever they want on the interview, and then I will ask questions. But I do want you to add, because I'm a listener, I'm an audience, I'm already interested in everything. So Mary or Jennifer, pop in.
Well, I'd like to add something to what Jennifer was saying about these documentaries. Not only do they help with exposure, and I know that they have, but they are also fundraising tools.
That's good.
And the Forgotten Enchantress was a phenomenal fundraiser, because when Jennifer and I found out about it, the plight of the house, we said, we can't let it become a gas station. We've got to do something. And we started thinking, and Jennifer came up with the idea of doing the film, which was, it's phenomenal. It's about 30 minutes long, and it takes you from the past into the future, actually, because it tells you what the plans are for the house once it becomes public property. Because a charity, a nonprofit, is trying to purchase it from the original family, and 5 generations of the same family have lived in that house up until the 2004 hurricane season was, it was devastating to so many places.
Sure.
And so the house was discovered, and Jennifer created this amazing film, and COVID hit.
Yeah.
We were doing really well. We were taking this film to physical venues and showing it on the big screen, and having like movie premieres, red carpet events, and it was great. People were paying, and they were doing gift baskets, and people were buying tickets to participate in that. So it was a fundraiser. But when COVID hit, they hadn't raised that much money.
Sure.
And Jennifer said, well, let's put it on GoFundMe, give them a link. If they, everybody who donates can see the film. And how much money did it raise, Jennifer?
On GoFundMe, it was like over $10,000. But the beauty of the film is that they were able to send it out to all of their their community, anybody. So a lot of folks got involved because after watching the film, like a lot of times you hear about a project and you don't really understand it. So it doesn't really feel like you don't, take your personal part on it. But if you see a film and you get wrapped up into it and you understand it, it makes it a lot easier to come on board. And so that's what the film, it created a lot of awareness, even with the family members. They realized how important it was to save the house. And that's probably the biggest takeaways that I had from the whole thing, is that one of the key people with the family, he said he couldn't believe, after a while you just forget.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, they just saw, they didn't live in the area anymore, and they saw the house as just a eyesore. But having the film and bringing back the stories of his family and bringing back why it's so important to save the house and seeing it on the big screen really moved him, and it changed his attitude. And to me, that was the biggest takeaway, besides raising the money that they needed to go up against a state grant. That's what they're fighting for right now, is the state grant. So, it's just please, prayers, because that's happening like right now, like yesterday and today, they're trying to get it passed so that they're up again. This is the third time they're going for this matching grant to save the house. And I don't know if people are hearing this, but the legislators and everything, they're all voting on it like right now.
I'll put on YouTube. Y'all be on YouTube today or tomorrow. I hope today. Yes, I think it's so important. My mom is a South Carolina girl, not birth, but that's where she lives, and she has a house with Steering Manor, and you probably know it if you're Aiken at all, Aiken, South Carolina, and she's trying to sell it because she's 95, and I don't know, I just think I relate to this. I relate because when it's your home and you go, okay, and then it just, life doesn't always happen the way we want it to be. We're all unique people, but life just it's like a journey where there's, God lights the way just enough to have you step forward, and they did. So they have stepped forward on helping other people. What I gather from the podcast so far is these are women that if you went to the parts of the body, they have big hearts. And they have big heads too, because they got this whole thing going, but big hearts. And so anybody listening out there that wants content about this, I really do think it's an important thing. It may seem like if it's not your home, who cares? And so many things come my way personally in the ministry that feels like, do I help with this? Donate that. We have to know, what are we called to do? And then we got to do it because we're accountable to God to do it. I'm called to do media and to write and speak. That's what I'm called to do. Now, if they'll ask me at church, do you want to be the usher or the greeter? I go, no, I'm there to be with the Lord. That's just my particular gift, just I'm a Mary and not a Martha. So we all have our own thing, and you have to know, because then you can get confused because I can't give it to everybody. You know what I do, y'all? My grandma was a little Italian woman, and every time a person came with a letter in the mail, she'd give $1 because my grandma wasn't wealthy. So every time something comes in, I pray and I try to send something. They're usually some society, the hospital, or something, and I tried, but you really can't. You could, but if you give, it's given unto you. What do y'all think? You have not made a paycheck, but I bet you there's been hidden dividends given to you that you wouldn't have had, that like this particular blessing of having.
I will tell you without a doubt, Jennifer, yes, we still have moments where we kind of roll our eyes and wonder, what are we doing this for? And when all the deadlines are coming down and the volunteers are forgetting that they have to, that we depend on them, or somebody's not giving us the information that we're looking for. And I had a writer today say, all of these stories you sent me, nobody's responding to. How am I supposed to write? Well, I'll give you more. Yeah, but there, like Jennifer said, we have a reason to wake up every morning.
That's right. I want to hear that.
And when we actually go out into the world and talk to people, and we see a light bulb come on in their eyes, and they go, oh, what a great idea. That is inspiring to me.
I think
and so. Our phone calls and lunches of what am I going to do with the rest of my life? We don't have that conversation anymore, do we, Jennifer?
No.
We're just going to think about it.
We don't have time. We don't have time for that.
So I know that one.
Well, I wanted to jump in really quick and just say that that's the beauty of bUneke, is that if you are out there and you're just trying to figure out, where should I put my attention, or what's lovely about bUneke is that you can explore different things. You can read every issue. It's free. go online. Everything on our website is free. And you just pick an issue and just start reading. And it was really neat. I have friends that they watch what I'm doing and stuff like that. They kind of are at a distance. And I had a friend come up to me, not just recently, and she's like, I finally decided to try reading your magazine. It's been how many years? And she said, I said, I did it, and it's a short read. Doesn't take long. And she said, I loved it. And I said, why did it take you so long? And she said, I don't know why. I guess I didn't know what to expect. And she said, it just made me feel, it was a feel good thing. And it just opens your eyes to what's going on and what other people are doing. And it's hopefully inspires you to figure out what you want to do,
Right. That's right. There's room at the end. I was gonna say, I write for like a newspaper, and I write for blogs, like Catholic, different ones. I don't want to mention all of them, but I'm saying the thing is, I loved writing for a magazine when I was in Brotherton, but the magazine I wrote for is gone. So I didn't know about you, but I do like the fact of seeing a magazine. I'm so old school. I like the magazine right in front of me, but you have it online too. But is it?
We have print on demand.
See, so
and we have audio.
And audio is good too for me.
The magazine is in audio versions, and you can listen to it on 14 different channels.
Wow.
iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, iTunes, Spotify.
And who's the IT girl? Who's the one that's gifted that one? You are. Yeah. Who's the one that knows how to do that computer? Because I
do the podcast. Jennifer manages the website. Jennifer lays out the magazine. I make sure the words are all right. And I work with all of the writers.
That's very good. That's very good. And that is such a big thing. We need a feel good. We need a feel good shows.
This is nothing but feel good. And in fact, I've had several people pitch me stories. Okay. Hey, I want to tell you the story about this sad, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And I say, if you can spin it, if you can come up with an ending that is a good feeling, I'll take it. I don't want to hear how many dogs were euthanized in the nation. I don't want to hear how many children are missing in the world. I want to hear about somebody who's doing something about it. In fact, we not long ago interviewed a woman out in Utah.
Wow.
Who
I live there too.
she works with women and women, men, and children who are escaping is not the right word, but they've made the decision to leave polygamous families.
Sure.
And
more people though.
And she didn't. She knew that she knew that polygamy existed out there, but she had no idea it was on her back door. Sure. Until somebody knocked on her door and said, I need help.
Wow. Okay.
And so she created an organization called Holding Out Help. Wow. And that's what bUneke does. We connect the dots. We find organizations and we promote them and share their stories. And we just try to connect them with donors and other volunteers.
That's awesome. And it just shows, even just the way you gift together, that you have some different gifts and work together, but then you welcome all. I like an editor that does do the punctuation, help me see what my spell wrong. I'm publishing books right now, and I have one place, it's in Orlando. They really don't edit for you unless you pay like a lot of money. And I do my stuff for free, and I do sell my books now that some are published, but self-published. But the other one does the editing. That helps the writer, because sometimes you're the creative spirit, right? We all work together as a body. And I may be creative and I have great ideas and I write good material, but then I have my husband be my editor. He may want to fire me, so I don't know. But thank you for that. No, y'all, tell me a little bit about, I don't know, you're going to tell me about how you thought about this, and you just say about eating together, remember, and then deciding what the name was, but what made it, like, how did it blossom? Tell me some of the stages of how it blossomed, because that's the other part. Someone can start a journey, but you got to keep on walking.
We were going to just be a digital magazine at first. Right. And it just kind of took on a life of its own. Like Jennifer said earlier, we have people around the world. We have 27 countries.
I like this part.
that work with us. And we have our podcast reaches 73 countries. We just picked up Finland the other day.
Wow.
So
Did they interpret? Does someone interpret it? Some people do speak English in other countries, like I speak English in this country.
yeah,
Not really fast, but I'm saying, do they interpret for you? Does someone come through and interpret your show?
I have no idea.
What?
I have no idea. All I know is it's heard in 73 different countries. And we've just passed the 6,000 download mark not too long ago.
Wow.
We're not one of the fastest moving podcasts, but when Jennifer and I started talking about this, it was just going to be a simple little magazine.
Uh-huh.
And it has grown organically. We reach over 1,600,000 people every year.
I love this. And how often does it come out? Because I have more questions now. I thought of questions. How often does it come out?
Quarterly,
Okay.
every 3 months.
Okay. And I also want to ask, what was the hardest thing about this endeavor, and what was the greatest joy? I mean, you probably covered greatest joy. We'll repeat it because we're going to almost do our last words. So what's the hardest thing?
The hardest thing?
Yeah, what was the hardest part? People are doing all those things.
I think something that's frustrating is not frustrating, but finding the way financially to support ourselves. We haven't got there yet.
Okay.
We do everything, like she said, 100% volunteer. And we're still there. We're still trying to figure it out. And I feel the more that people understand, and there has to be somebody out there that loves our vision.
Yes.
And, says, hey, I've got some ideas. Let's do this. And we have met a couple of people recently that are helping us with the donor part of it. But like Mary said, everything's been organically. So we just are being patient. We've put it in the hands of God, said, here's what we want to do. Help us. And we keep getting closer and closer. We do, don't you? Right, Mary?
Oh, definitely.
And even just our $1 donations that we get in from PayPal makes us so excited. It's like, yay,
Yeah.
somebody likes us, or
I do a little Snoopy dance inside. Nobody can see it because that would be scary. But I'm singing the aria. But every time we get a small little donation, or I get a check in the mail and somebody says, I want to order 2 of your magazines, I'm like, yes.
I get so excited. It's like, yay.
I order one myself. I am going to order one. I really am. I like the book right in front of me. I never was a Kindle girl. I just am not the person.
The magazine, and what we ask is just to pay for the shipping and printing. We don't ask for anything more, and maybe we should, but we also want to make sure it's available.
I love that.
As reasonably as possible. That's 21 issues right there.
So awesome. I shared this yesterday, but it so impresses me. My son's a writer as well, Ellen Mongan. He wrote a book. And in his book, I always read a book in one sitting. And then if I get something out of it, I'm so excited because I like read on Sunday, I read a whole book and I go, okay, that helped me. And one of the things that meant a lot to me is that he talks about, he's married to a Japanese girl, and he talked about a rice cooker. You put your rice in the cooker. Then you put the top on and you walk away, and then you come back and the rice is there. That's what y'all are doing. You're putting it in God's hands. I couldn't help but think that way.
I love that.
Yeah. You do it in God's hands. And then when God blesses you, there's a gal here in this town, and probably know her if you're South Carolina, Mary, but she is, it's Dorothy Spalding, and she has WBPI TV. And everyone always goes, from my circles of friends that used to try to do the show with her, I'd invite them on. They go, well, why does Dorothy get to do the show? Well, Dorothy walked 10 years with the cross. It was a long time without a home, and just put her heart on, I serve God alone. And then God gave her a TV station, has donors and money coming in. But I'm saying, you start the journey. You don't see the blisters on their feet because they show up with these smiles and go, here I am. I'm being unique, and you be unique too. But there's work involved. If you put effort and prayer together, guess what happens? The rice cooker, you have rice.
I love that. We're going to remember that, Mary. That's going to be at the next board meeting. We're going to talk about the rice cooker.
I like that. I'm going to write it down so I don't forget.
What God doesn't like is, hey, God, he what cares about us. He's our Father. He'll make the rice cook, and he'll make, prosper it, give, and it should give it unto you. I'm pretty much a walking Bible. Go on, y'all. You can go on.
Well, I feel like we are. I feel like we are too. We walk the talk. We don't just talk it. We actually, And I, you asked what's the hardest part.
Okay,
Maybe for me, the hardest part has been learning
okay,
so many different options. I can remember when we first started, I was inundated with a lot of zero waste and anti-plastic and anti-single-use plastic and sustainability, because those were some things that were important to me. And I thought, how in the world can I do all this at one time?
oh, I see,
And
yes,
how do I go from using plastic bags at the grocery store to canvas bags? How do I move from plastic straws to stainless steel straws? And Jennifer said, pick one.
that's right.
Just pick one thing and let that be your thing. You don't have to embrace all of it at the same time. Eventually it'll come into play.
That's
And
right.
it's the same thing. Jennifer's a vegan. I'm a part-time vegan.
I'm not a vegan. Everyone unique. I'm not, because I was a recovering anorexic, if you read any of my articles. And so I eat meat for protein because
Right.
I was married my husband as a bride that was anorexic, and I had to grow into having healthy eating to have my 8 children. So I still struggle with that. So I eat what I like, and that's one thing I do, eat chicken.
But that's the thing. Everybody can't be the same. And one of our board members, I remember one time 2 or 3 years ago, we were just starting out. I was trying to become vegan, and it was not easy for me because I have other health issues with my diet.
Okay.
And I remember talking to Franklin, and he said, Mary, you don't have to be vegan. You
Oh,
can be if you want to be, but it's not required. Everybody can't do the same thing.
that's right.
However, I like to practice what I preach. I want to be kind to all living creatures, and I don't want to see any animals exploited just to land up on my plate.
That's right. That's right.
And
So
and there are,
that's the
we
whole thing
have,
about viewpoint. Don't you think it's like a viewpoint of like, I went, like an elephant. If you're looking in the front, it's a trunk, and the ears are right here, and everybody looks at a different portion. Like some
Yeah.
people always say, don't judge someone in maturity in Christ. One guy's working on giving. You all are, obviously. Someone's working on knowledge of knowing the faith, knowing the scripture, because someone else is working on something else. We can never judge the way people do things. They have their reasons. If you talk to them a little while, like we're talking to y'all, you'll know why they feel the way they do. And mine was probably a surprise, because I really have good reasons of why I dress in dresses and why I fix myself up, because I'm an Esther woman. And people that look at me go like, she's full of pride. And like, okay, I like to look nice. However, my reason is because God made Esther a woman that the king could approach. And I try to tell women about beauty is something where you have a platform to speak out. And I don't know, for me, that's my thing. So next time I have y'all ask me the questions. I ask questions, I fill it, but go on, I do like that, because you don't know. I mean, you don't know why someone does.
well, and something that Jennifer and I are both still working on. You mentioned people are working on giving.
Right.
We also have to learn how to receive.
That's right too. That's right.
And that's why we rejoice when we get a single dollar, whether it's a donation or a grant. Yes. Yes.
Rejoice. You all do the victory dance in the room, because but anyway, so Christmas is coming. We all know that. I'm wearing my red, and it's not because Christmas is coming. I was wearing my red because they're on fire for what they do. They're excited. They're in their gifts. They're excited about doing what they do, and they do it well. But you could be in the same boat. You could be excited about what you do, and you could do it well as well. There's no market on be unique. But however, this is time to give. So I learned a long time ago, you all will relate to this because you're mothers and also wives. I learned to be to give, to bless. Christmas, who do we give to? And not to receive. Give to bless someone. And it was a great thing, because for that, you're like, what they give me? I don't know if you do that ever. I'm sure y'all don't. But like, I was raised like kind of like you give a gift to the person that gave to you. So I purpose at Christmas, and what I do is I give to some people that I don't know very well. They're not on my list. They're not off the Christmas tree at church. I just feel led to. I know one year I bought this wonderful thing I've been looking for. And then the lady that rang me up, she said, oh, I just love that. I want to go with my daughter. What was the last one? So I wrapped it up and came back and gave it to her because I didn't know the lady, but I was buying the present. She was working the store. You see what I'm saying? So you give to bless in every area of your life. And then you never know. The joy could be just a smile from giving. It could be
Yeah.
that God gives back in a way. I mean, I had so many blessings from God I can't begin to name. You don't know why you do it, but you do it when you feel that prompting. I got to give this person a pair of my shoes. I did that too. So I should do an article on it, but go on, y'all. So we're gonna close it off because now I've gone over the time because I took some of your time because I get so excited.
I have to share this little story and this little angel.
Sweet. I think I recognize those kind of angels. Is it what's it called? I like it.
Kristen,
Okay, yes.
they're little Kristen cherubs.
Okay. I like angels. And
I
today's the
can't-
feast of the angels in my church. So
I can't remember how many years ago. Well,
Okay.
Matt was 14. He's 40 now. So
She loves her children.
do the math. I had bought this little angel to give to my mother for her birthday.
Oh,
And I specifically had it wrapped in a particular color of paper and nice ribbon. And I bought it in advance. I always used to buy gifts for people for their birthday and whatnot ahead of time.
me too.
And then I walked from that store to another store and I saw 3 angels that were together. They weren't connected, but they were 3 of the same style.
Oh,
And I had to buy them instead or in addition. So I gave those 3 angels to my mother for her birthday, but I took this little angel here and I just kept him in the box, wrapped up on a shelf in my closet, thinking one day I'll need this angel.
oh,
I was thinking in terms of somebody's going to have a baby, somebody's going to have a birthday, I'm going to get caught off guard, somebody's going to retire from work, and I need a last minute gift and I won't have the money or I don't have time to go shopping.
Right.
That's what I meant when I said I'm going to need the angel. But that wasn't what happened.
she was wrong.
I had a very bad day one day,
Okay.
and I was sobbing my eyes out, and I was cleaning my closet because that's what I do when I get very angry. I start cleaning. So I was cleaning my closet, and my 14-year-old son came in, and everything was on the bed except for this box with the angel in it. And he asked me, "What's in the box?" And I said, "Oh, it's a little angel I got for Granny for her birthday."
Oh,
He said, "Well, you didn't give it to her and her birthday just happened." I said, "No, we gave her the 3 angels, remember?" He goes, yeah. He said, "But why is that still up there?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to keep it in case I need it one day."
oh, that's
And
beautiful.
I had to explain to him what I meant by need. He said, "I think you need it now."
Oh,
So I opened the box with the angel. And as I did, I met my guardian angels, 4 of them.
Oh,
It was almost as if they came out of the box
and you felt the
and
presence.
I felt their presence. And I said, because I was looking at this little angel here, that
So
thing. And I'm like, "Little angel, what's your name?" And I heard the name Alexander.
Mhm.
And I said, "Okay." And then I heard the name, "I'm Michael."
Oh,
And then I heard, "And I'm Jonathan."
oh.
And
Angels and nowadays, so we get a lot.
well, when all this was happening, my son was watching me. He goes, "Mom, you're glowing, literally like a light is shining behind you. What is going on?"
Sure.
I said, "I just met 3 angels." And then all of a sudden I heard what I can only describe as Scarlett O'Hara coming down the steps. I heard crinoline rustling and, just a tittery giggle. And Harriet said, "Hey, don't forget me. I've
Oh,
been with you since before you were born."
oh, so great. Because today is the Feast of the Angels. I know y'all are not Catholic. I'm Catholic. It's not a Catholic show. We bring everyone.
Raised Catholic.
See, this is a Feast of the Guardian Angels. So you share the story to me.
Yeah.
I get so excited. No, you want to address that to the artists out there? If maybe someone's going through a bad day, or you don't mean to address it either way. Any of y'all say, we have angels with us.
Angels are always with us.
And God sends a guardian angel. If you remember, there's stories in the Bible. The angel appeared to Mary. Then the angel. There's so many angel stories in here. I go blank, but we know that we are not alone. A lot of times I'm up in the night. I suffered 10 car crashes, and I have pain in my body because I don't do medicine. I don't do so many things. I just am a naturalist, like some people are like that, except for on the meat. I'm natural on the meat. And I'm up in the night and I'm praying for my children, or there's always someone to pray for in the middle of the night. And I go, God never slumbers or sleeps. So he's up with me. And but if you all feel alone, God is with you. But the angels, he sends the angels to protect you, to guard you and protect you. So Jennifer, what do you want to say about the angels? And then so maybe your little angel to come through with the donor, because that's why I do the shows, to put exposure, put networking, tell y'all this is Brevard. I came from Brevard part of my life. I met my husband in Miami, but we were in Brevard a while, floating back and forth. And this is a place where you can give and know the money's going to a good use.
Thank you for that, Ellen.
Well, no, I believe it. I wish I'd known when I was down there, but I still might ask if I could write for y'all. Go ahead, Jennifer. Do you want to say something? Do you have an angel story? I kind of have a funny one I can tell, but do you have an angel one?
Well, I was on my wedding anniversary, 35 years, and I was up in Alaska. My husband treated me to a wonderful Alaskan tour, and we hiked all over. We didn't do any excursions. We just hiked. And so on our last day, we came back to Seattle, and my family was putting a barbecue together for us. And I wanted to stop in a thrift store and get a duffel bag because we purchased some stuff and I needed to get it back home, and I didn't want to try and stuff it in my suitcase. So I ran in and I ran out, and my husband was a block and a half down the street waiting for me. And in downtown Seattle, the streets were all being graded because they were redoing the tops of all the streets. And I stepped off the curb in the same shoes that I hiked all over Alaska in, and my feet stuck. Like I stepped down and I couldn't move. And it's like my body kept going forward, but my feet stuck in that graded, whatever, that material that's on the street. I fell down. I went completely down, and everything flew out of my hands. And as I turned to the right, a car was coming, or a truck. It wasn't a car, but a truck was coming straight for me. And I knew that was it. I was going to be run over by this truck because I couldn't move. The most beautiful man out of the corner of my eye came and scooped me up on the right side. And then another woman I saw just out of the corner of my eye, and he didn't say anything to me, but he was beautiful. And she said, "My name is Rachel, and you're going to be okay." And they both scooped me up. And there was another woman who went out and grabbed my item that I bought, the duffel bag and my purse. And she was in front of me, and they helped me get across the street into the car. And when I got into the car, my husband, I looked over at him and I said, he started to talk to me, and I said, "Just a minute, let me just say thank you." Because I screamed the whole way. I mean, these poor people had to hear me screaming as I got to the car. And I turned to say thank you. It was just that one woman who had picked up the purse. And I said, "Where are the other two? I wanted to say thank you." And she just looked past me and said to my husband, "You need to get her to the hospital now." Like I was crazy.
Well, sure.
She
didn't see the other angels.
She didn't see what was going on. So
you knew. Yeah. God
when I got to the hospital, the doctor said, "There's absolutely no way that you could have walked on your feet." I did a bilateral break in both of my feet. It's called a ballerina break.
Pain.
So but I made it to the car, and he said, "There's no way that I could have gotten up and walked across the street on my own."
Oh,
so and the gentleman that he stopped the car. So like he stepped out in front of the vehicle, put his hand out. He didn't say anything, and just stopped the car from hitting me. So that whole thing, I was like, it just.
I hope you wrote that in the unique book. I mean, I hope you did.
It has been.
She has written that story, and we should probably publish it.
That gives her courage.
We could do.
Oh, go on, Mary.
Well, I have
that's why I do visuals, so I can see you talking, so I don't interrupt. But go on.
My first book that is waiting to be published, Jennifer's helping me with it, is called "Go with God and Drive with Angels." And it's about all kinds of stories just like this.
It's very good. I have a girl here in this town that wrote one as well about angels. She's a great writer as well. Wrote all this. She asked on Facebook to ask if you have any stories. But there is a scripture now. My over 68 brain came back to the life because I was so busy listening. It's the angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him, and he delivers you. It's the exact thing. The angel encampeth around you, and he delivered you. And then your feet weren't even walkable. I didn't catch that at the end. So thank you. I'm usually wearing heels. So I always worry about that. Like, if you go walking in Brevard, that's not made for heels. Just, you know, anywhere I would go would be like those, you would fall through on those, the things, they don't make it where this looks like, I don't know. So thank you. I want to do last words, and I did enjoy it, y'all. You can tell I enjoy what I do too, because I like to meet the people. And when everyone you meet, everyone has a story to tell. I think if you talk to them 5 minutes, you know that their mother just died, or they have been ill all week, or they're afraid of COVID, or whatever it is. 5 minutes is all you need to know. And that what I learned from these people, the first 5 minutes, is they love what they do and they do what they love. So Miss Jennifer or Miss Mary, do you want to say the closing, anything closing, not arguments, because we didn't argue.
I would say just thank you for having us, and we really appreciate what you do, and thank you for, you know, to your community for listening. And, you know, we feel blessed that you invited us, and thank you again for having us.
Oh, and I'm sorry about the other one. I was really ill. Go on, Mary.
Her mother's not doing well, but
I know.
Prayers to her.
So we'll pray for her as well. And her name is Lynn.
her name is Lynn and her mother's name is Audrey.
I love the name Audrey because I have a grandbaby named Audrey.
Aw.
Pepper. Now, we'll pray for her, and that's okay, right? What is her role?
Absolutely.
What is her role? So we don't skip her. What is her role in the Unique? What is her role?
Lynn is a co-founder, and she's our board secretary,
Okay, thank
as
you.
well as
Lynn,
our casting director.
We never want to ignore anybody. Hey, kids, let me show you. Okay, I go like, and you too. Go ahead, Mary. You want closing up?
I close my unscripted show on bUneke Radio with if you can't do anything else in the world, just be kind, because you don't know what other people are going through.
That's right. That's right.
So when whoever you meet, be kind.
I love that. And I closed a bunch of times. I summed them up a bunch of times, so I don't want to take any more of their time, but I want to say this. Thank you all for coming. We'll have you again. And I just have a co-host. She's really busy right now, but you never know if she'll pop back in. And I love what you do, and I do what I love as well. So listen up, y'all. Just watch this show, then pass it to a friend, someone that wants to maybe either contribute their talent and time, or maybe contribute some monies, because you know what? We always want to support each other. Yeah, that's
Yes.
the best thing about being a Christian is you have their back and they have yours. You don't want to ever be a Christian that's like, you know, mine, not mine. So we appreciate you. I do love it. And I'll send it to you today, and may God bless you. And thanks for listening to Wow Mom today. And these are Women of Wisdom. Wow Mom stands for Women of Wisdom in Titus 2. So women that know what to do and then did it. That's why I did it. Have a great day, and I'll see you when I come to Brevard. I will. I'll pop in. Merit.
Awesome. Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.